Yo, what's up? What's up?
Good morning. Good morning. What's going down?
Oh, I can't hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
I can't hear you. Let me see. Say something.
Yo, can you hear me?
Say something.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you on the feed, but I can hear you on the
Good.
feed, but I can't hear you on mine. I don't know what's going on with that. All right. Go ahead. Here, give me a second. Go ahead. Just it's episode 104. Give me a second.
All right. So, while Mr. Carter is hooking up the technical difficulties, episode 104. Last week we talked a lot about um, officiating. Actually, we talked more about officiating than we did anything else. Um, about how people go about technical fouls, receiving technical fouls. We spoke about how sometimes you can't always see a person do something, but people say things that will earn them a technical foul. And that's what a lot of people viewing on television don't understand. It's not always an act, sometimes it's a comment. So we got more NBA playoffs now starting up as of last night. Well, that was a play in last night. We have more baseball going on, not much going on in the NFL. Uh, and here in Long Beach, we have the Long Beach Grand Prix going on this weekend.
Mm-hmm. All
Yeah.
right.
So let's jump on in.
All right, yo, what's up? What's up? It's episode 104 of the Collective Podcast. For those of you that missed us last week, welcome back. Hopefully, you knew that we were coming this time. Back like we never left. We got right back into it last week. Shamed Rodney's thoughts about pinto beans being a black staple, all of that, and Rodney gave us insight into his abundance of love for pizza in the off season, and told us about how he lives so close to Costco that it's tough to
Man,
avoid it during the fall and winter.
two
And
dollars and
so
23 cents for slice. Oh,
and then he told us we're gonna it's a shameless plug, and it's not a shameless plug because we're not getting paid for it, but a plug for Legends. Rodney is loving this new spot that he found called Legends
MVP,
out in Long Beach. What'd you say?
MVPs.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? Not Legends.
Yeah,
MVPs. I'm
Legends at
thinking
the
of.
bar. Yeah, I
Well,
went
no,
to
I was thinking about.
MVP.
I got caught
I
up
was
thinking
at
about
the
the
burger
Superior
last
burger.
night.
What'd you say?
I got a turkey burger after work yesterday from MVP.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
loved it.
That's what's up. All right, so we are back. Rodney is in his off season now, and I am in lacrosse season. But being that it is the spring, I got basketball camp coming up next week, so we might be off because I'll be up north. But we'll see how it goes. That being said, like he said, baseball, basketball. We already closed out the NCAA last week. Um, I believe we got to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. We don't want to let it necessarily die if we hadn't touched on it, but I believe that we did. So we're good there because nothing new has come out. Um, but yeah, you wanted to talk through the art of a technical foul, the art of receiving a technical foul, the art of handing one out. Talk us through it, Rod. Oh, I
Well,
am AC from LA. He is Rodney, aka Saucier Senior. Go
Well,
ahead.
we spoke some about that last week, how some players get technical fouls not from necessarily a gesture, but sometimes it's from the comments of what they've said that people don't hear, um, on television.
Right. Oh, okay, you were just going back to that. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, well, yeah, it's interesting. We had to. So I have a segue. So for my camp this week, we had to clip plays, at least 3 plays, and put them in the Dropbox, put them in Dropbox, so that they can potentially be viewed in camp. And all the campers were supposed to do this. And so I went back to one of my games, um, one of my away games. Let's just say I was out in somewhere in Colorado, and I had a situation where I was going by a bench. Like I was the single side, but I was table side. And so single side means that I'm the one official in the triangle, and the other 2 officials are on the other side of the court, the lead and the trail. So I was going by the bench, and as my partner was blowing a whistle for a foul, there's a player saying, "Call a foul," and like sweeping her hand, but she's standing up, and players are not, they're only supposed to stand up to celebrate. She's standing up and on the edge of the court. So I told her that she needed to sit down, and then her coach stepped in to say something, and you could see that you can't hear anything. And so you can see us having a discussion, and then you could see me walk away and tell my partners that he's been warned, but you couldn't really see what he was doing. What you can see is that she was out of place, and you can see that I said something to her, and then you could see that he took exception to that. But to Rod's point, it was what he said that got him the warning, and it was absolutely out of place. And so he got he got the warning for that. He didn't wind up with a technical, but if anything else would have happened, he would have gotten a technical. Um, we have a ladder for coaches, and unless something is uber egregious, they get a warning before they get a technical. So yeah, but I just saw that play last night, and so it brought back memories. I clipped
Mhm.
it, and then I decided not to send it in, but I did clip it.
Right. You always, you, I'm sure in your career and definitely in mine, you've had a play where you get that assistant coach or even sometimes a head coach, um, after a missed shot on one end, the players are going back down the floor to the other end, and as you run by, that coach will say, "Hey, he didn't call it, so hit her back, or if she hits you, hit her or him."
Yeah,
And it's like, what are you thinking about?
yeah,
A lot of coaches have I've heard say that, and you're basically telling somebody to fight. Like you're saying hit. You're not saying uh,
be
you know,
physical.
right, try to do this or that. You're saying,
Yeah,
hey, they didn't call it, so hit her.
right.
Um, and they don't understand when they get technical fouls with that. What I don't think they realize what they're saying when they say it, but the ones who say it don't like that technical foul.
And even that is so interesting, because if that's your philosophy as a coach, then just tell your player in confidence. Like, hey, they're not calling it tonight, so da 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 da. Like, this is the game plan. Don't call it out to us, because
Right.
one, it's saying that we're purposely not calling something that is deemed to be illegal, and number two, you're plotting and planning something illegal. You're conspiring. So it's a lot, and that's not the way that you should be coaching, because you're not going to coach us. That's the bottom line with that. You are not. So yeah. Um, All right. So did you watch basketball last night?
I did watch some of the Minnesota game. I was at work during the Chicago game, but I saw like the ending of it.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know, man. It's like when Carl Anthony Towns is being aggressive and wants to play, he's he can do it all. But then he'll get in these little modes where he doesn't want to play. And it's the same with Jimmy
Hmm.
Butler. Like those, like I love Jimmy Butler's game. He's not flashy or anything like that, but Jimmy Butler could get to the basket anytime he wants to. He can get shots. He can shoot from deep. He has a mid range. He can finish at the basket. But there are times where I've watched Jimmy Butler like the last 5 or 6 minutes of the fourth quarter of a tight game, or even when it comes down to the last minute and they need a basket and he doesn't touch the ball. He'll run around setting screens. And I'm like, you've been killing this dude all night long.
Hmm.
Why are you not coming to get the ball? I'm sure the play is for you. It's not for you to be just setting a screen for someone else. So there are times where I'm like, I'm watching him set 2 or 3 screens in a play. Like you're obviously screening because you don't want the ball. You're running around setting screens on everyone and you don't want the ball. Like what's up
Hmm.
with that? And Carl Anthony Towns can just
So
completely
did
disappear.
you see him? Okay.
Say again?
So did you? Yeah. Did you see Butler in the 7-8 game?
That was that no, that was that last night?
No, that was the Wednesday game.
Oh, Wednesday again. No. I saw the highlights and I saw he was actually going to the basket and either scoring or giving the ball up to Struce, who was knocking down threes like crazy. Um, and that's the Jimmy Butler. Like I want to see every. That's the difference between him being good and great for me. Like you need to do that regularly, and even in the finals when they went, it was like he was no showing again at the end of games, and I'm like, I don't understand this. This dude is way too talented. But
Okay.
yeah, that's the difference. My buddy who played in the NBA, what's up, Marlon Wiley? If you paying attention, if you listening, he told me back in the day when he was in NBA, he said the difference between the good teams and the great teams are the great teams have a player at that time. It wasn't these super teams. They had a player that could just go at the end of games and get them a basket or get them free throws. That was the difference. Like your star at the end of to end games was the one who was going to touch the ball and be involved in the play
Hmm.
in some way. Like you weren't going to tell Bernard
Hmm.
King not to touch the ball in the last 2 minutes. That'd be ridiculous. And Bernard King was going to make sure he touched the ball in the last 2 minutes. When Moreland played for Orlando, it was probably Jerry Reynolds that was gonna touch the ball in the last, and he wasn't really considered a franchise player, but Jerry Reynolds could ball. Um, but he was gonna touch the ball down the stretch, and everyone knew that. They had Terry Catledge, they had Scott Skiles, um, they had Nick Anderson, but Jerry Reynolds was gonna touch the ball down the stretch, and there was no doubt about that. Same way we knew Jordan was going to touch the ball down the stretch. He wasn't going to give it to James Edwards or Bill Winnington. He wasn't going to be setting screens for he wasn't going to be setting screens for Scottie Pippen. Jordan was going to touch the ball. Um, and 85 to 90% of the time, he was going to shoot the ball if it were possible. Now, I'm not saying he was going to take a shot when it wasn't possible. But if it were possible, Jordan was going to take a shot. Kobe was going to take a shot. That's just how it's been, and I think Kobe was that last bridge between the old school and the new school. Well, he definitely had that old school mentality that no one was getting the ball but him in the last 2 minutes of a game. And that was just that, whether he had to, shoot over two or three people or not, the team was going to live and die on his shoulders. And when you're that good, that's how it should be, but the league is different now. No one, not a lot of players want to do that because they have brands. They're afraid of repercussions of what could happen to their brand nowadays.
Yeah. Well, the NBA is an interesting land right now. But we have what we have. So, Rod, are you going with your Clippers again? Need your picks. I don't know why you're laughing. We just want to know if you're going with your Clippers.
It's funny every time you say that. It gets funnier.
Okay. It gets funnier.
It gets funnier.
All right, let's do it like this. Let's go through. You got Bucks Heat. Who you have?
That's actually a hard one. It's not a gimme.
And he says it's funny when we talk about the Clippers being his team.
Yeah, that's hard. I'm gonna. Gosh, man, don't make me do that.
Don't make you do that. Well, here, let me make it even more difficult for you. I got the Bucks in 4, but go ahead. What do you have?
Okay.
I have the Bucks in 4.
You know what? I'm gonna go with the Heat.
Okay, cool. Hopefully you go with them to win the championship. You got the Celtics versus the Hawks. The Hawks at the Celtics. Who you have?
Celtics.
Wow, so that was a sure thing. Okay. Sixers Nets.
Sixers.
This dude lives on a different planet. New York at Cleveland.
Cleveland.
That's the gimme, not the Bucks and the Heat.
Well, not with Julius Randle injured. So I'm gonna go with Cleveland.
Okay. So you're going to take the 2 seed, the 3 seed, and the 4 seed, but you're not going to take the 1 seed. You're going to take the 8. You must think this is Seattle versus Denver, but okay. Timberwolves at Nuggets.
Nuggets.
Hot take. Lakers at Grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
Yeah. Warriors at Kings.
Man, that's a hard one.
And don't do California any favors here. Like, go with your heart. Go ahead. We know your heart is with the Clippers, so go ahead with the Kings because it's all California. Who you got?
I'm gonna say Warriors because they're battle tested, but I don't think it'll be easy.
Well, I mean, they're the lower seed. It shouldn't be easy. Clippers at Suns.
But they're not the typical low seed. I mean, like they're low because they had a lot of injuries and lost games because they had players missing. But now they have those players back, and it's the same with the Heat. Like they're not the typical 8 seed. They have a.
It's not the same.
They have.
It's not the same.
Come on, dude.
It's not the same.
Yeah, we'll
you
see.
over here cursing. You over here cursing. You like I don't know why you have all of this disdain, and you're gonna say, no, I don't. No, I don't. I just know basketball. You have disdain for the Bucks. You just don't believe in the Bucks. but it's
I
fine.
don't have any. I love the Bucks, but Middleton is
You
not the
can't
same
possibly
player.
love the Bucks and pick the Heat. The Heat.
Middleton is not the same player that he was prior to that injury. So
You,
now Giannis is working that much harder.
Rodney, let me just break this down for you. It took the Heat. They lost to the 8 seed and then beat the 9 seed to get into the playoffs as the 8 seed.
I get that.
Do you?
I get that.
Because you have them now reaching the mountaintop and then sliding back down
I just got
in
them.
celebration.
I'm just saying they could win the first round.
Okay. Clippers at
That's all.
Suns.
They got a roster with Kyle Lowry, Kevin Love, uh, Tyler Hero,
Is this thing on? Is this thing
Jimmy
on?
Butler, and
Is this thing on?
Bam Adebayo. Those are players that can play, right?
Okay. Oh, is that me? What is that?
I don't know.
Wait, where is that coming from?
I don't hear it anymore.
Yeah, because I muted it. Oh my goodness. I guess that was that page I was on. So Clippers at Suns.
Um, Suns.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with I'm not going with the teams you went with. But hold on. So I am going with I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna go with the Clippers. Um I think the other three. No, I'm going with the Clippers and the Warriors, and then I'll go with the other two home teams. Hold on, let me go back to it. Let me let me turn this sound off so that it doesn't have. Oh, you. That's right. I'm on the other computer, so you couldn't even hear it. So I've got the Clippers over the Suns in an upset. Warriors over the Kings in an upset. I have the Grizzlies holding on, and I don't even care about the Nuggets and Timberwolves, but I have the Nuggets. Okay. Knicks, Cavs. I don't care. I mean, let's go with Cleveland because Donovan Mitchell is there. I like him, but I have no idea what's going to happen there. I have the Sixers. I have the Celtics, and I have the Bucks sweeping the Heat. So yeah, so we don't agree on everything. I think we agreed on maybe four of the 8, and then who you have coming out of the East? Miami.
Uh, Boston.
No, Boston. So okay. I'm not mad at Boston. So I have a rematch of last year. I know you don't. What do you have? Who you have in the West? No,
Um,
I don't have a rematch. I'm sorry. I have Golden State coming out of the West, so it would be a rematch if you were right about the East. But I think the Bucks will actually hold on. I know that Boston looked the strongest in the beginning, but down the stretch, it was just Milwaukee, just too consistent. But you're right about Golden State getting healthy, and so I've got them. But go ahead.
I'm gonna do something different and go with Denver in the finals this year.
Denver. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have Denver over Boston.
No, I have Boston over Denver.
So are we tied with them or are we one up because of the
We're
bubble? I can't remember. So
one
you
up.
so you got them catching us again.
Yeah.
Well, not again because they didn't catch us again. We spent our whole lives catching them and then went ahead. Okay. I just never like I like a lot of the Boston players, but I just don't ever want that franchise to win another finals, you know? I don't really care
Me either.
about.
I'm just speaking just as a
Yeah, I got you.
you know,
I got you. But I do believe so. As you believe in the West 1 seed, I do believe in the East 1 seed. So I've got, but you don't even
And I
have.
really don't, disagree with your Clippers pick either, because my mind is telling me the Clippers will will beat them. I mean, and Paul George is like he returned to practice, so
Mhm,
that could be a serious boost if he actually is healthy,
mhm.
or at least can give them 80%. Like 80% of Paul George can really boost them. I'm not a I know I said Phoenix, but I'm not a believer in them. They haven't done anything worthwhile since Kevin Durant's been there. So it's just it's just hard to pick that one because they have the talent. Phoenix has all the talent in the world, but it takes time after you get a new player or new players or after a trade for all the players to understand each other and for that particular players coming to that team to really understand the playbook unless they've played for that coach before. Um, so, players may know the basics and may know some of the plays, but not everything. And, I don't know if people understand an NBA playbook is big. It's not, like high school where you got three sets and three plays on each set or whatever. Like it's NBA has got a lot of stuff. So it's a lot to take in. So the Clippers winning is not far fetched at all.
Yeah. So no doubt it is a lot to take in, but I really do have the Clippers in what's perceived to be an upset. But when you have that 5-4 matchup, it'd be what we call a pick 'em anyway. And so, um, but I do believe that it's their time. I mean, listen, they're not my favorite team, and they're not my hidden team like it is with Rod. He has these veiled. It's a rough time for us. Let's just say that it's a rough time for us because we are Laker fans to the core, but we share in that we don't celebrate this guy that's leading the Lakers. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go become a Clipper fan like Rodney. But here's I guess this is his fork in the road, if you will, because he's maybe like he's unsure about his Clippers versus his Suns. And they were his sons too before Chris Paul really started showing on. He was like, man, this is just disgusting. So he finally got off of them. So I don't know. Rodney out there like trying to adopt a team. This is what he does. But I don't know.
Right.
So transitioning. It's Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. Shout out to Jackie. He obviously played for the Dodgers, Brooklyn Dodgers, LA Dodgers. Um, but he's also the most celebrated athlete in Pasadena history and in UCLA history. This dude lettered in three sports there. It just a phenomenal. He was just a phenomenal presence, and he did great things. And he wasn't the greatest black baseball player, but he was a great black baseball player, and he was willing to carry the torch and all that it encompassed. And he did a phenomenal job with that, and helped open up doors for others because he had to take a lot of crap, a lot. So shout out to Jackie Robinson. You going to the stadium today, Rod? Go get your jersey.
I'm not. I have to work today, but I will definitely get to a Dodger game soon.
Yeah.
I wish I could go today. Um, and I missed, of course, I missed the hoodie night last week.
Uh-huh.
and I'm sore about that because it's the second year in a row that they were giving out hoodies in the first week of the season, and I didn't get one.
I'm sorry. Did you say you're sore about that? Did you just take us back to
I,
the Little Rascals?
I am
Oh,
sore.
oh, gee golly, Rod sore.
I'm sore.
Okay. Yeah, I lived through that with you. You were like, man, I missed this day and I missed that day, and Rodney really wanted to go get him some Dodgers apparel, and
I did.
just stuff was just not working out. So I know you'll make it this year. I know you'll get that done. So
It's
good for
funny
you.
you said earlier, like this is the off season, and because we both do two sports, you and I really don't get an off season like everyone else. Well, you do three, but
Yeah,
we don't get an off season.
yeah,
like like they're already sending. Well, like football camps are already here.
yeah.
Basketball camps are what next week.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
a lot comes with college sports, man, and we give up a lot of time. We miss a lot of stuff. I don't think people get that part of of what we do. You know, missing holidays and birthdays and all kinds of stuff when you have games or when you have trainings that you really have to be at because you want that job or you want to work for that particular conference. Like,
yeah.
it's a must. They're not going
Right.
to change it for you and make an exception. And sometimes they don't always have more than one camp. So you have to bite the bullet and go.
Yeah, yeah. One good thing with some situations is they have whatever they have on a certain weekend, the first weekend in March or whatever it may be, so you can kind of plan. Or like for El Paso, it's Memorial Day weekend, so you could always plan that. But other things, it's generally, especially in basketball, it's based on tournaments, and it's based on when the tournaments are going to be and where they're going to be, and so a lot of times you just can't plan for that in advance, so you don't know which tournament a supervisor is going to use for his or her camp. So that makes it a little tough. But yeah, I'll be up north next week. I just looked at the agenda. We have meetings on Thursday evening, Friday, along with games on Friday, meetings and games on Saturday, and then just games on Sunday. So we will be working and learning. So hopefully that works out. All right, so baseball. Um, the Tampa Bay Rays started off 13-0, tying the Brewers from what, 87? Yeah, the 87 Brewers. And what's funny is when I was playing Little League that year, I played for the Brewers and we started out 12-0. Um, and I remember one of the dads saying, "Oh, we're just like the Major League Baseball team. They're 13-0." But then everybody forgot about those Brewers. We won the championship. So it was different. It was different for us. We actually delivered. Um,
And that
so
was 1777, right?
whoa, you took off 110. You took off 210 years.
When
Damn.
you played.
1777. Good job, Rod. Didn't did, didn't you? I mean, I know you founded Howard University, but didn't you actually found America when you founded Howard University? When you built that quadrangle, didn't you put up the American flag? Didn't you commission Betsy Ross? Come on now, Miss Ross, why don't you put this flag together for us? Oh, snap, snap, snap. What you got? What you got? All right, baseball. So they started off killing the game. And yeah, and they took one loss. So they're 13-1. So they're still doing well. But they finally, Toronto is the one that finally broke through. Um, the Dodgers, I mean, when Julio Urias is pitching, If he could pitch every night, the Dodgers wouldn't lose. But he
Right.
can't pitch every night. So hence 8-8. And listen, up until let's see, what was it? That last game against San Francisco, they were plus 23 in run differential. So that was still third in league baseball. And generally under Dave Roberts, the Dodgers lead in run differential. So, when they lose close games. And when they win big. Even if they don't have the best record in Major League Baseball, they still have a high run differential. But they got smacked around in those two Arizona losses, or two of the three Arizona losses. And then, they started off down 0-1 last night, and then Will Smith hit a homer and tied it up. It's 1-1. Next thing you know, they're losing 8-2. So they're not going to dent in that run differential, and they're 500. So, um, one thing Rod was saying in the offseason, well, I won't steal your thunder. I know you were talking about pitching in the offseason, so you want to pick that up a little bit now?
Yeah, the Dodgers just no, it seems like every year they just refuse to address it. You know, they let they let some really good pitchers get away last year, um, from last year's team, and now they're just relying on pitchers that we've already had, such as Dustin May, coming back from injury, and they feel like these players will, you know, come back stronger and do it. But Dustin May was still kind of rising when he got injured. So he hadn't really crossed over to, yes, he's a bona fide, starting pitcher winner yet, in my opinion. He was still on his way. He was still ascending. So, you know, uh, perhaps they feel like he will continue to ascend once he starts, and maybe they just feel like it's early in the season and players are still getting the kinks out. But I just didn't see anything through spring training and through the beginning of this first 16 games, um, that tells me this is going to be another 100 plus win season. It just doesn't feel that way. Um, and like I said before, I hope that if they only win 75 games or whatever, that this doesn't fall on Dave Roberts' shoulders, because he's done, to me, a phenomenal job. And we may not always agree with him taking pitchers out early or whatever a lot of fans don't agree with, but I'm one that believes in you go with what works. And if him taking pitchers out in after the fifth inning is working and they are winning 110 games a year, so be it. I'm not going to be the one who, waits until they get to, you know, uh, the NLCS and say, oh man, here he is taking the pitcher out after the fifth inning again. Like, if that's working and they're winning that many games, I'm not going to question it. He's just being who he is, and a lot of coaches do just that. They do what they know. So if what they know is winning, that's it. That's enough. But
Yeah.
I don't like the pitching staff from this season. And this is not the only season where, I mean, I felt uneasy last year about the relievers, and the relievers gave up runs, and they didn't win a World Series. Um, and this year, just the starters don't look good at all, other than Urias.
Yeah. So, thank you for that. So we'll see how it shakes out. I feel like I mean, this year is going to be much more difficult than previous years. Um, and I thought that uh, Dave Roberts has definitely done a masterful job. And so, this this year, whatever when they get to the playoffs, this will have been his finest work. But it's interesting that at 7-7, they are one game out of first in the NL West. And even if they were in the Central or the East, they'd be 3 games out, but they'd be in third place in both of those, and they're in second place in the West. So it's been a tough start for the National League, except for really Atlanta and Milwaukee. It's been tough. And so I think the Dodgers will right the ship. It's just one of those really weird things. Like you usually don't see this kind of seesaw. Like I said, you usually see them winning by a lot and then losing close games. But thus far, that run differential. Hey, I got that text. Run differential is plus 18. So let me tell you guys what that means. Usually they're first in the league, like by a mile. Like they were 100 runs better than the Yankees last year. 100 runs better. When all was said and done. Now, we fell to the Padres, but all right, so right now the run differential puts them second in the National League. So my whole thing is, Rod, they can score runs. And so if they can figure the pitching thing out, and I know that it's not just easy, but they will be okay. And that's the thing that's really, really, really important for me. That run differential is important. And so even with the plus 18, they're third, they will be third in the American League. And so if you can score and figure out the pitching, well, if you can score, then that's a nice portion of the battle. And if you can figure out the pitching, then so that people are coming back, and so we have to hope, right? But we'll see what happens. We're getting down to it, Rod. So in baseball, like I said, Tampa Bay looks amazing. The Padres look extremely mediocre.
Agreed.
And they were supposed to be running away with the entire National League. Any thoughts there?
They're the Padres. They they do what San Diego teams do. They get hyped. They have great squads, nice players, and they find a way to lose. Or they get injured or whatever happens. It's just the curse of San Diego, I think. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I don't believe, and I haven't believed, but I can't get those 2 Arizona losses. And then here's the funny thing: going back to Arizona, they lead the National League West, but they're -6. So it's like, if not for those 2 games against the Dodgers, they would be 6-8, and that differential will be even lower. So I believe in the Dodgers. That's what I'm saying, because they've had 3 really bad losses, which hurts that run differential. Otherwise, they would be first in run differential in the National League. And so I feel like we'll be okay. All right. So it's early yet. Aaliyah Boston and the crew, 4 players drafted in the top 24, 3 in the first round, and then Bree Bill went number 24 in the second round. So that's their senior class.
Well,
was
all
4.
5, the whole starting 5 got drafted, right? Weren't they the first? I mean, not the first, but they tied.
No, it's 4. It's 4 seniors.
I know 4 seniors, but 5 players went, right? Got drafted.
Somebody went early?
Let me check that.
Nah. Come on, man. Because you got Aaliyah Boston, Letitia Amir, Zaya Cook, and Bree Bill. Who's the 5th starter? Cardosa.
Victoria Saxton went to the Fever.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
5.
did not know that. What year was she? I mean,
She
what
was
pick?
number 25. She went right after
Oh, she went
Bree.
right after Bill.
Yep.
Oh, damn!
Yeah.
Look at you trying to drop some knowledge. Where you
Just
come from?
a
All
little,
right,
little bit.
so okay, so she came in the third round, first pick of the third round. I did not know that. Okay, position rank 27, grade 82. Okay, yeah, I wasn't aware. Thanks for that. Um, yeah, so all five. So I guess what it was with her is she took a COVID year. They didn't. Um,
Right.
so I thought that she was already there. Forgot all about that. So yeah, it was five senior. There were five seniors, but one of them was a COVID senior. So that makes sense. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Damn. Okay. Cool. Um. Well, we're on it. So what else before we close out?
Um. Let me see. There should be a good boxing match coming up soon, right? It is. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Trying to figure out when the actual fight is. There's a fight coming up next weekend.
Okay. Any any more information than that, or just that?
I can't find out exactly who's fighting, but there's a fight coming up next weekend. Is it the Davis fight? Javante Davis and Ryan Garcia. I think that's one next week.
Yeah, that's next week. Is that what you were talking about?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll be waiting for
Okay.
that and ready to see it. Um, should be a good fight.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully all the stuff that was going on with Javante Davis is behind him. Um, he got into an accident and some other stuff going on, but hopefully that stuff is not a distraction for him, so he can actually get out there and give a good show.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, we'll see how it goes. Are you gonna buy the fight?
No, I'll probably go by someone's house.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and check it out. I think so. I think one of my family members or friends already has it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if not, I would. I would actually pay to see that fight.
Oh, okay. What's up, Keith? Rodney's buddy, Keith Lester. Um. All right. Well, so you're off of your Clippers. You're back with your Celtics and the Nuggets.
Kawhi has actually been playing more lately, which is surprising. And
Uh-huh.
that's the crazy thing. Like you just with some of these teams and with some of these players, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's there's no consistency. Like first he was playing like every other 3 games, and then it was like he's not gonna play back to backs. Then he played one back to back, and then he didn't play any for a while, and then he came back and started playing more back to backs, and
Mm-hmm.
now he's been playing, regularly. But I don't know how long that lasts, or I don't, there's nothing really to go on, and that's why it's so hard to pick them, because you don't know who's going to show up. But they're definitely capable of winning.
Yeah.
And like I said before, the teams with strong wing defenders have better shots uh, in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If you can guard the wings and you have great wing defenders, you have a much better shot. Whoever wins those wing matchups normally wins the game. So I'll be watching to see who's getting the better of who each game I watch.
Well, I'm excited to see Clay defend. I don't know that I'm excited to see Kawhi defend, but I guess I am. I know he's not going to take any games off in the playoffs. So in that first round matchup that they will win, that one series that they will win, I guess it'll be exciting. But I haven't watched the NBA this year, so that's the other interesting thing. So we will see how all of that goes, and yeah. So
And that's what makes me miss the previous era, because we would get a matchup with and each other. And they on each other the whole as soon as the part and it's way. And so yeah, they came more in front of each other. It's switch, they ran end up some guy on it. Shoot, it'll be a pain, and he'll get a switch with a big on him and just go to the back and dunk it or dish it to the corner for a three or something. It's like it's not the same. I would have loved to see them go ahead. So
I don't know why I waited until the end, Rob, but your audio is breaking up something miserably, and it just started when you started talking about what's different in today's game. It's still breaking up. Damn, you're not gonna be able to close out.
but
Um,
yeah,
I don't know what it is, but and I checked it on the feed. Like I muted it and then I checked it on the feed. Like it's going out to Facebook, broken up, and YouTube and LinkedIn. What's up? What's up, Sam Gardner the third? Shout out to Sam G3 or SG3, aka Sam Gardner the third. One of my, along with Danielle, one of my two favorite vegans on the planet. Yo, what's the good word, brother? Try it again, Rod. Let's see how your audio is now. That just sounds bad. You're a little frozen too. Shake your head, Rod. Blink if you can see us.
yeah.
Nah, it's broken. It's broken and you frozen. All right, so I'm a damn, Rod. Air. Since we're talking about basketball, let me go ahead and close this thing out. I saw Air last night. Yeah, Air was amazing. Now you frozen like this. I don't know if you guys are going to see Air. It was kind of an afterthought for me, but that was very well put together. Very well put together. Listen to what I'm saying. You had Chris Tucker, Marlon Wayans, Jason Bateman. You had Ben Affleck. You had I don't know why it's escaping me. What's Ben Affleck's best best friend's name? Why am I drawing a blank? Anyway, I don't know. I can't think of his name. What is his name? This is crazy. Um, Jason Bourne. What is his name? This is crazy that I can't remember my man's name. Like, he's one of my favorite actors. Anyway, I'm going to say his name in a second, but it was absolutely Matt Damon. I kept thinking Matt, but I couldn't think of his last name. Yeah, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker, Marlon Wayans, Viola Davis. It was extremely well put together. Please, please, please go see that movie. We were pleasantly surprised last night because the rest of my party heard that it was a bad movie, and it wasn't a bad movie. So we were glad that we went. All right, Rod, I guess you didn't fix it. Listen, thank you all for coming through. This was episode 104 of the Collective Podcast. We got Rod back for 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to try to get it in. Oh, you're not frozen. See if you can talk. Rod, talk. All right. I don't know if we're going to be on next week. Say it again.
You were frozen too.
It's on tape delay. No, I wasn't frozen. I'm looking on
too, but now,
nope, it's just you.
It's
just you.
Not.
It's just you. But your audio is still broken up. Rod's going back to tape delay from the early days in the playoffs. Okay, try it again. It's like he can't hear me until 5 minutes later. Anyway. Hey, Lane. See, I told you, you said let you know we were coming back. I'll let y'all know. All right. So we probably won't be on next week, Elaine, but we'll let you know well in advance if we are. But I'm going to be in basketball camp. So probably 2 weeks from now. And then we probably won't have any more breaks for a while. We're going to try to have a good run up until football season. And then it'll be kind of tough. We might have to move to a different day or something like that. But anyway, that being said, shout out to Elaine, shout out to Sam, shout out to Keith, shout out to everybody that came through, shout out to everybody that will watch this back or listen to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of the other DSPs once I get it uploaded. We appreciate you for coming through. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Rod's frozen. So for my closeout, once again, let's just go back to loving your people and letting your people know that they are loved. You just never, like, there's just too much craziness out there more than ever before. And you just never know when it could be the last time that you interact with your loved one. So just keep that in mind. Move with grace, interact with grace, and you'll be better for it. And your loved ones will be better for it. For sure. Listen. I just want y'all to know. I've said this before. You know, if you're a single parent, then and you still have a relationship with the other parent, really work hard to try to have a great working relationship. It makes all the difference for the kids, or the kid or the kids. You can't always have a good situation, but a lot of times you can have a good situation. So if it's possible for you to, then try to either keep that going or try to fix it so that it can be a good situation for you guys, because it can be and usually is better for the kids, and have a great co-parenting relationship with Brianna, Kayla's mom. We're really good friends, and it's a great situation. And Kayla's thriving, so that's great. That being said, I'm really on some. This is mine, so don't y'all try to take it. # no more first dates. Yo, dating is rough, and especially if you're not out in the streets. If you like gotta go through the apps, so like app dating. Some people like to call it online dating. Yo, my situation is decent. Okay, Sam. Thank you for that. Yes, your situation is great. um, yeah. So I'm not giving you guys any more than that, but I'm just on some hashtag no more first dates. Rod has more insight. Sam's wife has more insight. That's it. Whatever. Y'all be safe out there. Go ahead, Rod. I'm gonna let you close out last since you're unfrozen.
Hey man, I'm gonna go to work today and come back and watch these games and watch tomorrow and enjoy myself. I'm gonna try to make the Universal Circus finally. I just still haven't been able to go and take Zaire. Stuff just keeps popping up, and I got to get to it before they leave. So hopefully sometime this week. I think this is the last week they're playing in Compton. So that's my only plan. Other than I'm back on my diet, trying to get my body together with the low sugar stuff. That means no white bread, no white potatoes, nothing white. Um, I've actually from AC
No white
adopted.
girls.
I knew that was coming. I knew it. Yep, no more white
I'm
girls.
just kidding, Nisha.
Uh,
But he said
oh,
nothing white.
I'll let you get that one for free. Yeah, I'll let you get that one for free. Um, but yeah, like I've adopted zero sugar soda from you, so I have been able to swallow zero sugar Sprite and zero sugar Mountain Dew. Um, some of it is there are some of them that are disgusting to me, but you know, it's helping. Like I dropped about 20 pounds just laying off the sugar, and this season my body felt great. My energy level was super high. I felt like I could run forever. Um, I could get in my dress clothes, my slacks finally that were getting kind of Gary Colemanish for a minute,
Mhm.
all tight around the ass. Um,
So we're taking a poll and wondering if it was better when Rod was frozen. We're not sure. Go ahead.
yeah. So finally, my clothes are fitting a little better because I didn't want to go up in size again to try to hide it. I was tired of that, and I just feel overall healthier without the laying off the caffeine from drinking Coke and Dr Pepper and um, just decreasing that sugar that I was taking from processed foods and junk. So every now and then, I still give myself a chance to eat some ice cream like every 3 weeks. But other than that, I've tried to remain focused and make it a lifestyle, so it's not so difficult. It's hard to find food different places when you are restricting yourself. It really puts a limit on what you can eat, and it puts a limit on what time you can eat because the places with the healthier foods close earlier than those who don't. Um, but that's a journey I'm on, trying to make it right, trying to stay on this earth for a little longer. Uh, Definitely, Sam, meal prep is key, and I've tried to do it and tried to be better at it. I'm not always great at it, but I definitely try to take like some healthier snacks with me when I'm gonna be away from the house for a while. Um, but yeah, that's my weekend in a nutshell. Until we see you guys again.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Rod. Different kind of closeout. Clearly, we're not letting Rod go last again. So next time, if he's frozen, he's just out of luck because that was an interesting closeout. But this is the goal. So again, I'm not giving you guys any more insight than that. But the goal is no more first dates because boy, I mean, I think y'all know me a little bit. Like I'm not just gonna settle. I prefer to be in a relationship, but I'm not gonna settle. Like in the relationships, I haven't settled. Those were great. people and great choices. And so I want my next choice to be my last choice. That's the plan.
Yeah.
All right. All right, y'all be safe. This was episode 104 of the Collective Podcast. In theory, that's 2 years of episodes, but it took us longer than 2 years to get there just because, we had a lot going on, a lot of breaks and all of that. And, now that we've hit the 104 mark, we'll see if we can maybe get through the next 52 episodes somehow in the next 52 weeks. That would be a nice goal. Probably have to change it up a couple days, at some point, or maybe do 2 episodes in a week. But my goal is to get to the quote unquote 3-year anniversary a year from now. So happy Jackie Robinson Day, happy Tax Day, which I know is moved to the next week because it's the weekend. You're living vicariously through me. We'll see how it goes, but right now it's going well, so stay tuned. We're glad to be back, Elaine, so thank you for that.
I'm waiting for Elaine's podcast. That's what I want to see.
Okay, yeah, she said it was coming, so thank you all for checking in. Rod's got to go to work, and I have a game, and luckily for Rod, he's right there. I still have to get dressed and leave, so I'm gonna stop Rod from talking because he's not really being an understanding partner right now. Elaine's podcast is coming soon. There you go. All right, y'all. Episode, same as episode 104, the Collective Podcast. He is Saucier Senior. I am AC from LA. Go see Air if you haven't. It was really, really good. Really, really good. It was better than the trailers gave it credit for. So check it out, y'all. All right. Be safe. Love your people. And let them know you're loving them. You know what I'm saying? We out.